Okay, folks, welcome to Thursday Night Stock Charts Live. This is Bob Desmond, and welcome to another week. So, the question I've been asked for the past couple of days is why no swing trading today? I only put one out this week, and the reason is that I have a nasty case of poison ivy, and I'm taking Benadryl, and it's hard to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready to do that show. So you can see here, it's on my face, it's everywhere, it's crazy. So I plan on taking more Benadryl, plan on going to sleep. So this is probably going to be a brief one. Well, hey, I hope your contact dermatitis is clearing up. It's still rolling out. I thought it was starting to slow down last night, but still getting worse. Frank, good to have you back. Looks like Europe had a good day. Thank you for having me back. Trader Isaac, Thursday night, smash the like button. Thank you very much. How about AUI's gold and silver play? Okay, talk about that. NY Jets, hello, Bob. AUMN. Barrick was interviewed, the CEO of Barrick was interviewed on CNBC. He had a really good forecast for the miners. Hi, Bob. Hope you're still doing well. What's up with TBT? It had a really good day yesterday. Not a good day today. Longer term, I think things are looking up because the weekly chart of the TLT we're going to talk about broke down this week. We'll see if it closes down. On board Louisville. Hey, Jedi. TA, hey, brother. Tommy, hi. Steve. How did I get poison ivy? All right, so about 3 weeks ago, I went into this one flower bed I have, and that's where the poison ivy is. And there were weeds in there. And so I said, you know what? I got to get them out because I'm OCD. And I was very careful, and I expected to get a little bit of poison ivy, and I didn't get any. And so fast forward to this past weekend, I said, you know, maybe I built up a tolerance because when I got poison ivy in the past, I would get it so bad that maybe now I have a tolerance. I was wrong. Really wrong. So I went into the garden. I spent a good 2-3 hours in there pulling out vines, weeds, everything. It looks really good. But unfortunately, I'm paying the price now. So that's my tale of woe. And my wife, I wake up in the middle of the night. She's like, Jesus, you need to take Benadryl. And I don't take Benadryl. I don't have allergies or anything like that. I had no idea it was going to knock me out. And I couldn't even get up for the Wednesday. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? I couldn't get Tuesday. I couldn't get up. What do you think about move in BA? We'll take a look at it. I took a look at it the other day. I guess it's worthy of a look. So let's begin with some headlines that are interesting. I want to talk about Paul Tudor Jones. Whenever Paul Tudor Jones talks, I listen because the guy's just so dead on accurate. And he's one of the first, I'll say, talking heads out there or professionals out there that I ever listened to. And it was during the stock market crash. He was being interviewed on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. And I always followed him ever since then. So I'm a big fan. So we'll come back to this. I want to take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin just went on a tear. I want to start off with this. This is the environment that we live in. And thank God for our Attorney General, William Barr. He's an innocent man. Think about what they did, what they put General Flynn, a 3-star general, through. These appointed people in Washington, D.C., what they did to this guy. Thank God he's free. I hope he sues and he went bankrupt. They wiped him out. It begins. So here's why I am actually I'm not bullish on stocks. I'm bearish on stocks, but I still have a short position, but I'm not as bearish as I was because it looks like what they're going to try to do is they're going to go to negative rates, and that has me concerned in the short term. I think longer term, it's going to drive up rates because the only reason why money's been flowing into our bond market is because that we do pay a yield once we stop paying a yield, who's going to want our debt? We're the biggest debtor nation in history. Who's going to want our debt if we can't pay them an interest? So I think that this is horrible, horrible longer term if this plays out. Short term, it's probably going to be bullish. So I'm worried. So our week so far, our gold mining trade is doing outstanding. We're going to go to a chart of the gold miners in a moment. Our short trade, we're not all in on the short side, but it's not doing well. You know, we can't speak our book here, and they sell the market off at the end of the day. It doesn't close negative, but traditionally, you know, if you take a look at a daily chart of the S&P 500, you know, if you went back before this crisis and you saw topping action like this, selling off the highs, reversal days, you would expect a rollover. You would expect a breakdown. But every time you get a bearish day where you would expect to see a follow through, a bid comes through. You wake up the next morning. What are they doing? They're spiking the futures up. What are they doing in the afternoon? They're pulling it back. So it's a game that's being played here. I have little doubt it's manipulation. So it's concerning. It's very, very concerning. So we're going to be very, very deliberate with adding more to the short side. And I'm looking for a break. I want to see a bearish reversal day on the market, and then we will look to lean into the short side. Not until then. Got to be disciplined. All right, to Paul Tudor Jones. Now, to be fair here, you know, he didn't. This is probably an article that he had placed, right? He's not going all in on Bitcoin. He's got a percent or two of one of his funds that are now involved. Low single-digit percentage of his assets are in Bitcoin futures. Now, the reason why I don't own Bitcoin any longer, I have a small position, but I don't have as large a position, is that I worry about the federal government coming in one day because it's competing with the dollar and them just saying, you know, listen, we're going to put regulations on it, whatever they're going to do to try to kill it. So when you take a look at Bitcoin and you want to say, is Paul right with his bullishness on Bitcoin? This is a monthly chart of Bitcoin versus the US dollar. And it's breaking out in a very, very big way. So, yeah, it looks like he's spot on with his Bitcoin call. I would love to get more bullish with him, but I can't. I just don't have confidence in the federal government not really striking out at what could be an enemy of the government, meaning a challenger to the US dollar and doing something really, really bad. So I'm just going to be careful here. Price of the market. We closed out the day at 26.97 using the Shiller PE ratio. So by any metric, the S&P 500 remains very overbought. If you want to take a look at current PE multiples, we remain very overbought. If I could find the chart, here we go. Where is it? Here we go. You could see, for those not familiar, in red, the upper band is overvalued. In blue, purple, whatever it is, that's fair value. And we are very, very overvalued here. And if you had a forward-looking multiple that you could slap on this market, Lord knows how expensive this market is. I mean, most of these companies, 25% of companies out there pulled guidance. They have no idea what their guidance is, what their earnings are going to be next quarter. So this is only going to get worse. Can they keep this game up? Sure they can. They're bidding the market up on very, very light volume. Here's the SPX. Look at how we closed off the highs of the day. Volume continues to decline, but they can keep this game up. So let's take a look at the weekly charts and how we appear poised to close out. But before we go to the weekly view, I want to talk about the yield curve. Now, last month, let's make sure this is updated. Okay. So for those not familiar, the yield curve, when it steepens, usually you get bearish price action in the market. That's what happened back here in March. Then in April, we put in a higher high versus the close of March, and then we pulled back and the market rallied. Now this month, when you get a steepening of the curve, meaning the spreads are beginning to widen out between long-term yields and short-term yields, normally that's when the stock market begins to sell off. But I'll tell you, this month, the stock market, while it's jittery, they're spiking it up every single day, and they are ignoring the steepening of the yield curve. We'll take a look at oil. Tommy, that's definitely a chart we're going to want to take a look at. TLT, this is a chart I wanted to talk about earlier. I was asked about the TBT, which is the inverse. We broke down this week. We broke down below the lower band of this triangle formation. So the TLT is under a lot of pressure right now. It's going to be difficult to recapture support. And we have a lower high here on Stokes. MACD losing momentum. It's not dead yet. It hasn't broken support at 163.2, but it's under a tremendous amount of pressure. And when you take a look at the daily chart, we rallied today, but we couldn't recapture support after breaking down yesterday. Big gap down. So is this a filling of the gap? Not quite sure. We'll know tomorrow, because tomorrow will end the week. And beware, if we close down below the support level, that's a breakdown. The dollar, actually this is yield, sorry, yields. Let's make sure this is updated. This is the 10-year yield. All right, earlier this had not updated. We had broken out on the week above this upper band of resistance, and today they whacked it down very, very big. Let's take a look at a daily chart. That's not a daily chart. That's a yearly chart. Look at that move down. Boom. Big move lower today. That's our Federal Reserve at work. The chips. Rough day yesterday, but they have reversed on the week, and they are moving up higher. What's moving up higher as well? Gold, the miners, Bitcoin. Bitcoin trades with the CPI. We can go to a chart of that in a moment. US dollar, breaking out. The dollar's moving up higher because things are so bad overseas. But if yields go negative, not good. Actually, this is not updated. This is as of the 6th. This is not updated yet. Let's go to the UUP. Weekly view. Hate when they don't update the charts timely. All right, this is accurate. So we're up on the week, but today we did see some selling of the dollar. We're in a tight consolidation here. We can go in either direction. Let's take a look at the FXE, the euro. Euro's down on the week. So odds favor bulls for the dollar trade. Let's check out FXY. That's the yen. The yen is behaving well. Okay. The VIX weekly chart, hammered. Outside reversal week, hammered. And this is what makes me nervous about being short. But I will say this, on a daily chart, we've been bouncing off of this support level. We had broken out here on the 1st of May. Excuse me. And we've been pulling back and finding support here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Do we break or do we rally? The Dow Transports, believe it or not, the Dow Transports are, we could say they closed at support, but I'm siding with more. We have broken down below support on a weekly basis. So the transports under a lot of pressure this week, daily chart. Remember, one trading day left to go. A lot can happen here. An update today, but they sold it off the highs of the day. Volume was good. Dow Jones weekly chart. No breakout. 24,000. Still resistance. We are up a little over a half percentage point on the week on light volume. S&P 500 weekly chart. No breakout this week, but the Qs broke out. No new weekly high versus last week, but the Qs have a new weekly high. It's all about the Qs, folks. Take a look at this. The Qs are up over 4.25% on the week, while the S&P 500 is up 1.78%. So absent those 5 big mega cap stocks, the S&P 500 would be doing a lot worse than what it is at current. But the performance of the outperformance of the Qs is narrowing versus the S&P 500. You're seeing the bottom tier S&P 500 names beginning to rally. Is it a short squeeze? I don't know. Is it just simply money rotating into those stocks because they haven't moved yet? I don't know. We'll see in the next couple of days. We'll see if volume picks up. Let's check out volume on both the S&P 500 daily. You know, relative to the break in February, volume is still high on a relative basis. But relative to the price action since we bottomed out, up volume is fairly light. Now, Q volume on a daily basis, it rose versus yesterday, but still, the trend is net down on up volume. So it looks as though the Qs may be losing a little bit of steam here, but they're still strong. The banks, they had broken support. Let's just say we're at support on a weekly basis. You would expect, if we were really in a recovery, that the Dow Industrials and the banks would be doing well, and they're not. They're underperforming. Technology continues to be the leader here. Weekly chart, threatening to break out. New weekly high. But look at this volume. Horrible volume. Out of curiosity, let's take a look at a daily chart. Look at this, spiking it up. They're squeezing the shorts. On anemic volume. I mean, this volume is normalized to prior to the correction. And we have a lot of resistance immediately above here on technology. Let's bring up the semis. Yeah, just type it in. On a monthly basis, the semis are down. Weekly basis. Ugh. A good week. Up over 4.5%. So my guess is that as the rest of technology, whether it be infotech or software, begins to cool down a bit, money will rotate into the semis and they'll try to keep the party going. Rah, rah, rah. Daily chart. Look at this short covering rally here. Look at this volume. Horrible. Just trending down. Horrible price action. I wouldn't buy the semis. Biotechs, huge week. Huge reversal week on the biotechs. They had taken it on the chin last week. This week, the LABU, the leveraged ETF, putting you long of biotechs. Big reversal week. Very strong. Daily chart. I think we could pull back here to $40 per share. If that holds, this is a sector I would be interested in putting money to work in. Energy. No new weekly high. And we have a big wick on top of this candlestick. Volume should come in definitely below last week's volume bar, but probably about average. Daily chart. I put this arrow up here last night. I was talking to members about this chart. And while we had a very bearish candlestick yesterday, I said, you know what? This stoke haunts me. I get the feeling that they're going to try to hook it back up. They're going to try to rally the energy markets. And sure enough, that's exactly what they did. On light volume, everything's light volume. So the chart looks good on a daily basis anyway. Weekly basis, the jury's still out. We need a breakout above 39.08, and that would bring us to a new weekly high. That would be a good scenario to unfold. But I wouldn't go buying here. Oil. All right, so oil's off the highs of the week. Let's go to a daily chart. Outside reversal day today. But what's strange is that normally you have a correlation. Usually it's like 99% of the times. You have the energy sector and oil, which trade in tandem. But you're not seeing that lately. There's definitely a disconnect. Emerging markets, they've recovered their losses on the week. Still lethargic. And if the dollar breaks out, you don't want to be involved with emerging markets. If the dollar breaks, then emerging markets become more interesting. Gold, have they updated this? All right, so we're poised for a breakout here on gold. This is a stunning chart. It's beautiful. Let's go to a daily chart. Outside reversal day today. We're getting ready to go here. And I'm not into buying the GLD because I worry about what happened with the USO happening with the COMEX. But actually the inverse. If you have all these paper gold owners that want gold delivery, can the COMEX deliver? And man, if they can't, beware of paper gold. I like the miners. I think the junior miners in particular are very undervalued and have a lot of upside. And we're long of the gold miners. I'm talking my book here for disclosure purposes. So I'm looking for a breakout on gold very, very soon. Volume could have been better. Let's bring up the GDXJ weekly view. And we are flirting with a breakout on a weekly basis. Very good price action. We broke out today. And we're going higher. Now, I want to take note of the utilities. This is the UTSL. It's a leveraged ETF. But the utilities are getting absolutely annihilated. And you have yields. They usually trade inversely of the 10-year yield. And yields got crushed. And the utilities can't catch a bid. So what's going on there? I'm not sure. But something's going on with the utility sector. You think with their input costs being lower, maybe it's not gas. You would think with their input costs, yeah, the nat gas reversed on the week. And the fact that yields are so low, making their borrowing costs so low, you would think that they would do well, and they're not. They're not doing well. Manoj, good to see you. All right, let's do some stock chart requests. All right. Let's go to our friends over at TrendSpider. First up is going to be for Trisha. Trisha. I had an alert that fired off on this today, and I thought about her, and then I went to go check the request, and she had requested this chart, so perfect timing. All right, so we had an alert set for a breakthrough above this resistance level on a 4-hour basis, this purple line here. And you could see we broke through it this morning. We pulled back this afternoon. We may see a further pullback here. I like the setup. Now, taking a look at a weekly chart, let's throw up some. This is really our only resistance level above here, and we've broken out above it. So I like the weekly breakout. Daily chart. And note how there's no volume bars above. Very, very light volume. And that makes it all the more easier for, why can't I get this to move? For the, there we go. Shares to move higher, unabated. Now I want to throw up a daily resistance line because you see this wick on top of this candlestick and you wonder why. All you got to do, that's why. We have resistance above. So I would like to see a pullback and a retest of support. I would look to open up a position there or add to my position there with a stop right below the day's lows. So good risk reward entry point, a good point to add to your position with a tight stop just below. Hey Trish. Great to have you on. We finally got the login issue. I hope you didn't have any issues with it. We finally got that resolved. Now we have to clean up the holdings page. It was a big to do. It's called PHP code. It cost me a lot of money to get it fixed. But glad to have you on board, Trish. I like the chart. Looks really good. So just beware. I would look for a pullback to this support. Let's see how we closed the day. Yeah, you can see they're going to try to, which is a good thing. They're going to try to come back and retest this. Traders are OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. They're going to want to touch what was resistance to see if it'll now act as support. When it does, that's a great place to nibble a little bit more and then add more on strength. So nice looking chart. So what else do we have? AUY. Yamana. Not my favorite miner. I think I'd have to go with Newmont Mining as my favorite, but it'll do. Okay, so a very nice week. We cleared, actually this is a monthly chart, sorry. We have a new monthly high. We have broken out, obviously, a lot of time left in the month. We don't know if it's going to close above this resistance level, but at current, things are looking good. Weekly chart. All right, so on a weekly basis, things are looking really good because what we did so far this week is we've broken out above a monthly resistance level and a weekly resistance level in green. So if you're looking for a place to add more, let's first go to a daily chart, see what that's saying. There's nothing not to like about this chart. I mean, rarely do I look at every time frame and I get excited. This is a good looking chart. You know, I would be fine on a new daily high with buying more. If you wanted to wait for a pullback, if you get one, remember the miners are breaking out now and they're talking negative yields. These are going to get moving really quick. So I don't know whether or not I would hold out for best price. I think we've had that opportunity. So I think AUY, I usually don't play individual names. I like to trade the ETFs. Reduces the risk. All right, so we'll keep this active. And we're good to go. So monthly chart looking good. Remember, there's one trading day left to go. And if there's one thing that I've learned from doing these Thursday night stock charts live videos is that, you know, one day means a lot. So simply because I'm speaking very, very bullish right now about Yamana, that one day could mean a lot. I wouldn't want to buy the shares if we fail to close above weekly resistance or at current weekly support. So if they pull back, I would wait a little bit and see if we put in a new weekly high next week. But I think that the shares will probably close fairly well. And I'd wait until the final hour of trade tomorrow. If we hold this breakout, game on. I like to trade. AUMN. Okay. All right. So I think last we spoke, we saw positive things occurring with our RSI on a monthly basis. Stokes rising, looking good, but we don't have a breakout yet. what we have is real serious support below. This is a weekly chart. We have a new weekly low. That's not really what you want to see. You know, if you're going to look for a spot to open up a position, look at 20 cents per share, 19.5 cents per share. Those are good support levels. Otherwise, I would really, this looks like a very speculative company, and I really don't play stocks like this, but I would wait for a breakout, ideally above this line in blue, which is at, let's round it up to 24 cents to be safe, and look for that breakout. Because right now, you're trending down. Daily chart. See these volume bars over here? How strong they are, how big they are? There's a tug of war going on. And with today's price action, looks like it was a doji star formation. Yeah, this is a textbook doji star formation. The sign of indecision. So you may get a trend reversal here, which is obviously down. But you wouldn't want to buy until either, again, wait for a pullback and a retest of support, or wait for a breakout above this upper band of resistance. And where it's declining. So where that's going to be tomorrow, next week, I'm not quite sure. But I'll share this chart with you, so that way you have it for future reference. Let's see if I can throw some trend lines up here, which would be helpful. Yeah, so these are weekly trend lines. And I'll share this. But I would be very, very deliberate and strategic with adding or opening a position on this. Be careful. All right, that's AUMN. Let's go to, I'm going to go to stockcharts.com for Boeing. Let's go to PayPal. Woo! Wow. What a move. It's a beautiful, beautiful move, but I cannot buy the shares because you're trading right up into that third standard deviation Bollinger Band. Beautiful day. You have a monthly breakout. A great entry point is that if we get a retest in the future, this is Benadryl at work, folks. It wipes me out. All right, so we'd have to keep this going for 30 days. Trigger it once. All right, so a support set, or alert set. My God, beautiful. I mean, even on a weekly basis, it's leaning into the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. I mean, it's beautiful. You know, it's probably going to go higher, but it'll probably head up. If I had to give a price target, it's probably going right up here to 151, 152. But just beware. You're leading into the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. We're not supposed to be there on a relative basis, so just please be careful. but there's really no resistance above. It's beautiful. It's a great opportunity. I would just let those shares come in a little bit if possible. Great setup. SGEN. Seattle Genetics. Okay. Daily chart's a bit concerning. What a move. All right, so no overhead supply above. I mean, that's why it's just cruising here. But it's so extended. Again, another stock trading into the third standard deviation Bollinger Band. Look what happened last week when that happened. You know, it's one of these genome companies. They just do acrobats. They defy technical analysis at times. So if I were long, I would be scaling out. I wouldn't initiate a new trade right now. It's a little bit extended. And when you take a look at it on a daily basis, we flashed an outside reversal bar today. So a little bit of a chink in the armor. And yesterday we didn't put in a new daily high. A little bit of stalling action here. I would wait for the shares to come in a little bit. That's my take. AXU. Alexo Resource. Okay. Nice breakout. What you do have here is sellers right above. Where do we close? 178. You have resistance at 179. But if you get up and above that level, we close above 179, that would be a nice breakout. And here's your uptrend channel. Here's your lower band of support. Here's your upper band of resistance. So you could trade this thing all day long in that channel. Weekly view. I'm having computer issues. Perfect timing, Bob. All right, here we go. My computer just crashed here, folks. I have no idea if I'm still live. I am still live. Wow, look at this. The joys of technology. All right. SGEN. We did. What was it on? AXU? Yeah. All right, so AXU. Let's go to a daily chart. Yeah, I would wait for the breakout here. A close above 179, 180, even better, would have me bullish on the shares. Let's go to Boeing. Boeing, I have a saved chart that I like to refer back to. Let's go with the monthly chart. What a mess. Monthly chart is not looking good. I can't believe this stock is this damaged. We may be setting up for a higher low here. Little triangle formation action going. Want to look for a higher low on our Stokes. I think if they continue to pump the S&P 500 up, at some point in time, technology is going to get old, and they're going to have to go to the industrials to keep this joke of a market up. So at some point in time, I think Boeing will trade up just simply because it should, just to keep the market up. I like the RSI. RSI is hooking up. It's definitely stabilized. It rallied today, closed off the highs of the day. Volume was light. I wouldn't buy it until it has to show us it's got some strength. I would rather buy it on a close above 133.84 to 134 per share. And you get a close above that level. That's pretty much a guarantee that we'll see more money rotate in, because that means that we've overcome this resistance level right here. And once we get through those sellers, you'll see the shares much more able to rise without hindrance. Let's take a look at a 4-hour chart. All right, so one way to play this is simple. We have this trading range that we're in. If we break out above this upper band of resistance, that's at around, this chart has it around 137.30. So this would be a pretty conservative entry point if we close above 137.30. Because that's right where the 50-period moving average is on a 4-hour chart. You're welcome, NY Jets. We're going through some, looking Trader Isaac, both NEM. Yeah, NEM is that's the Pimp Mac Daddy. Yeah, that's great company. Barrick is good. They bought out, I think it was Rand Gold last year, and that acquisition's done. So they're hitting on all cylinders. And with that, folks, thanks for dealing with my technical issues. Please hit that like button if you could. Thanks for being with me as I struggle through my, as Will called it, contact dermatitis or poison ivy. Everybody have a really great weekend. And members, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Everybody have a profitable trading day tomorrow as well. Take care.